Hello, and welcome to 826LA's first ever virtual event. I want to extend a special welcome to those of you who are new to the 826LA community, as well as our longtime out-of-town supporters who are joining us for the first time, thanks to the magic of the internet. Before we begin tonight's program, I want to share a very short excerpt from an essay that an 826LA student named Odalis wrote in 2015. Odalis said, "I want all this oppression, this racism, this discrimination to all go away. All of this makes me see the world as such a different place. It's so scary to be out. I never know when a police officer can just stop me or anyone, or when it will be my last day here on earth. I have so many fears." Fear and violence are too familiar to too many young people in too many communities, including our own. We stand with the movement for Black lives and for building an anti-racist organization. Amplifying the voices of our students may not fix deeply rooted systematic injustice, but we cannot uproot injustice without creating space for their voices. And so that is where we begin. As many, but perhaps not all of you know, 826LA's mission is to support students who attend under-resourced schools in Los Angeles through writing and tutoring programs, and to help teachers inspire their students to write. We also operate a time travel mart, actually 2 time travel marts, which is of course a convenience store for time travelers that benefits our programs. We also are connected to a network of 826 writing centers across the country, supported by 826 National. When we decided to call this event Changing the Story, it was still an event in the traditional sense, and we had no idea how apt our title would turn out to be. We were, and are, thinking about the challenges faced by students in a school district where more than 80% of children live in poverty and only 42% meet English standards on state assessments. To be clear, those statistics have nothing to do with deficiencies on the part of students or their communities. They have everything to do with systemic racism and economic injustice. We want to change that story. And then the story changed on us. But the skills, resilience, scrappiness, and hard work that helped 826LA grow from a tiny organization dreamed up in our board president's living room to an institution that serves sometimes over 9,000 students a year, all those things that got us to our 15th anniversary enabled us to pivot in the face of COVID-19. The 826LA of the present looks very different from the 826LA of the past. Today we have online tutoring, virtual workshops, and in-school sessions, remote support for students who are writing college and scholarship essays, a crisis resource hub for families, new trainings for volunteers, and a database of writing prompts for educators and students. None of that could have happened without a staff that has and was 100% committed to our mission and attuned to our students' needs. And none of it could have happened without you. At 826LA, we frequently talk about helping students write their own futures. That call to action has taken on a greater urgency, but the challenges we face as a community give us greater cause for celebration. Tonight, we're joined by creative individuals who know that processing and accepting change are integral to writing and rewriting. Some of those folks are household names, and some are 826LA students, who may be household names in the future. Mark our words and listen to theirs. Without further ado, I want to introduce Tarina Tyne Eisner, one of the co-chairs of Changing the Story.
I came to 826LA as a volunteer back when it was based in the Spark building in Venice. I was immediately taken with how creative the students, staff, and volunteers were. There was a beautiful spirit of what if. What if there was a grouchy, unseen publisher who barked orders at staff during field trips, and students got to save the day by writing exciting, brilliant stories? What if we opened a convenience store for time travelers? As Joel shared, times have changed since those early, intensely whimsical days, but that spirit of camaraderie and possibility remains. That spirit is what enables us to imagine a bright future even during times as difficult as these. And that's why I'm honored to work with 826LA as a board member, event co-chair, and through my work with the Eisner Foundation. The foundation has helped strengthen 826LA in so many ways, especially by supporting intergenerational partnerships between students and older volunteers. Thank you all for being part of this wonderful 826LA community. Now, let's hear from my co-chair and fellow board member, Sarah Rosenwald-Barrett.
Thank you, Tarina. Before I joined 826LA as a board member, I was a volunteer like Tarina. My time with students has grounded me and inspired me. As a tutor in Echo Park, I've had the privilege of seeing students grow over time, how their grades improve, how their writing evolves, and how their confidence blossoms, all because someone cared enough to work with them one-on-one. We live in a world that tells students of color that their voices don't matter. It's vital, especially now, to join forces with families and educators in saying, I hear you, I believe in you. That's why I believe in 826LA and why I'm honored to chair this event with Tarina. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our board president, a leader who was a critical part of 826LA's founding and is just as critical to its ongoing work, Jody Evans.
Tonight's program will take you through the past, present, and future of 826LA. I was there at the beginning. I'm proud to be here now, and I'm hopeful for what the future holds. But I want to start with a story about the past that I believe resonates with the present. Like many great ideas, 826LA was born out of crisis. In 2001, Congress had just authorized the war in Iraq, and I was distraught. I'm a peace activist, and I believe that an educated population of people who can both speak up and listen attentively is a prerequisite for a peaceful and just world. I met Dave Eggers that same year and saw how the 826 model made such a future possible. In 2004, I packed as many people as I could here in my living room and said, how do we birth 826LA? In 2005, we opened 826LA in the Spark building just down the street in Venice. We painted the space ourselves and furnished it with my old couch. We knew that establishing justice required a space where students whom the traditional education system left behind could feel supported. I am grateful that for 15 years, we have addressed inequalities in LA by connecting, supporting, caring, and delivering an essential need. I am grateful to everyone here tonight for investing in the future of students we serve, even when the present holds so much uncertainty. That's what art and leadership are about. Thank you.
A26LA is special to me because they've provided me with a community beyond my own community. A26LA events such as Personal Statement Weekend have made me realize that people outside of my own people, outside of my own neighborhood, care about me and want to help me succeed. And they've made me realize that that's what I want to be to someone else in the future. You know, like those volunteers that weekend, I want to be able to give back to kids that feel like they're on their own. I want to help them realize, just like 826LA has helped me realize, that I'm not on my own, that people will always care and that we'll always try to uplift one another. So 826LA is simply special to me because they've given me a network to fall back on.
I believe 826LA is special because there hasn't been a lot of times where I feel that I'm understood or that I can properly feel that somebody can understand me, especially with adults. But I think I've found quite a few adults, whether they've sent it my way or they present themselves to me, and that I feel like they can help me, you know, write statements and sort of get what I'm trying to say.
When I first got to Manual, we created a book. I forgot the title of the book, but we got to write about anything that we wanted, and it made me feel like nothing I said was stupid, even though now I look back on it, it's kind of cringy. At the time, I felt empowered, so that's why 826LA is special.
Hello, and welcome to Changing the Story, a virtual gala celebrating the past, present, and future of 826LA. 826LA's mission, as many of you know, is to support students academically and creatively and to help educators inspire their students to write. Proud to say that I've worked with this fine organization and served on the advisory board for many years. So, walk with me for a minute back to 2005, a time of trucker hats and juicy tracksuits. It was also the year Tom Cruise jumped on Oprah's couch, if that jogs your memory. The top movies at the box office were Star Wars and Batman. A couple years into programming, 826LA could say it served 1,200 students, and their volunteers had donated 3,000 hours. Not bad, right? But now consider 2019, still the past, but more recent. Top movies of the year were Star Wars and The Joker. And in 2019, 826LA supported almost 9,000 students from under-resourced LA communities, worked with amazing volunteers who donated 21,000 hours of their time, and published more than 200 books, zines, and newspapers featuring student writing. So, why the focus on the writing?
Hi, I'm Emily V. Gordon.
I'm Camille Nanjiani.
And we're really, really happy to be asked to be involved in this event for 826LA. We're sorry we can't be there, but...
Nobody can be there.
Nobody can be there.
That's kind of what we're doing right now, is not being there.
Not being anywhere. But I don't know, I think creative writing, it was a real lifeline for me when I was a child. I didn't realize it could be a career. I didn't think it could be. So for a long time, it was just my way of expressing all of my emotions.
Right, and I didn't need creative writing because I was very cool in school and great at sports, and the girls loved me. That was a bit of creative writing for you.
Yeah, that was a real
Not
rewrite.
true. No, it's a real rewrite. I punched up my life.
You gotta punch up your life sometimes. It's so essential to have creative writing be something that's taught, and I know it can't always be taught in schools. And so it's great that 826LA kind of picks up where schools can't always do it, because I think without writing, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know, it's how I've expressed myself. It's how I've gotten out my anger, my sadness, my joy, my weirdness. It's how I've done everything. And you're a comedian.
Yeah.
You do writing and then just say it out loud on stage.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's been the same for me.
So we're so happy to be doing anything in support of 826LA. Congratulations to everyone who's written. Congratulations to anyone who has written.
Congratulations to all the writers out there.
A very cool project is making its debut tonight. The Sun Was Trying to Tell Me Something is a compendium of student writing from all 15 years of 826LA's work.
Hi, I'm Natalie Sanchez. I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior at John Marshall High School, and I've been attending 826LA for about 10 years now. I wrote a piece called Summer of 18, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Let me start from the beginning. Where lives a different Natalie? A Natalie who decided to try and find her purpose in life. Natalie had just had a tough couple of months and wanted to look at the positive things in life. Nothing could come in the way of this young adventurist. Let me tell you, the one event she was looking forward to all year was the Lotus Festival. Every year, she looked for the perfect ring, a ring that spoke only to her. Luckily this year, her ears had been perked up, ready for anything calling her name. But Natalie stopped for a second, because something caught her attention. She had a small sensation, like a eureka moment. There was a small ring that described the night sky beautifully and simply. With her eyes locked on it, she tried the universe on her finger. Wow, how extraordinary. Natalie couldn't believe that the one thing could transport her to a state of mind which she felt like a new person, but the same old Nat. She placed it back. It was too good to be true. So she left it up to destiny. Natalie was going to leave it, and if by the end of the day it was still there, then it was meant to be. When the sun began to set and the light illuminated orange throughout the pond, it was time for Natalie's question to be answered. Did someone buy it? Should I have bought in it? Am I too late? She dragged her mother because she wasn't ready to face the truth alone. Fate had spoken. It was still there. Natalie's ears rang with joy. It was the moment Nat decided that if destiny was in her favor, then why shouldn't she? The ring was a promise to herself that no matter what happens, never forget that you always have yourself. Till this day, she wears the ring every day proudly. How do I know this? Well, I did say I write my own stories.
Hello, my name is Nadia Villegas, and I'm a senior. I've been going to 826LA for 7 years now, and I've been a part of many of their programs and workshops. After high school, I plan on attending Santa Monica Community College, and after that, possibly taking a major of astronomy and astrophysics to one day become an astronaut. This is my piece that I wrote, Blue Nail Polish. Blue nail polish has a big meaning to me. To others, it is just a color. To others, it is just nail polish. Blue is my favorite color. After all, it is the most popular color in the world. Yet that is not why I like blue nail polish. I believe that blue nail polish transcends gender and sexuality. I am surrounded by people wearing blue nail polish, whether they're a boy or a girl. This is amazing because blue nail polish allows you to express yourself, no matter who you are. Yet there are ignorant people that think it's not right for men to wear blue nail polish. How can such a small little jar of the color blue bring such discrimination? There's no law anywhere that says men cannot wear blue nail polish, yet people find it a problem. Why do stupid people start opening their big mouths by calling them gay? Blue nail polish is freedom. Blue nail polish is expression. Blue nail polish is defiance. Blue nail polish is ignoring what other people say and staying true to yourself. I wrote this piece when I was back in middle school, and looking back, I am surprised to see what I wrote, and I am very proud. Thank you for listening. 826LA is special to me because from a very young age, I was coming to their program and just learning so much and bonding with the students and the tutors. It was just an amazing workspace, and everyone was just so creative and were able to express all of their emotions and creativity and put it on paper. They taught us how to get better as writers. It's an amazing program where you just meet so many new people. At first I was like, a writing program? Oh, darn. But then I got there that first day and it was like nothing I have ever been to. It's not like school where you're just pressured into writing, but you are given this time and help that you need to write what you want and how you want it. It's just amazing, and I'm very grateful for it.
Each year, 826LA partners with one high school on something called the Young Authors Book Project. For several intensive months, volunteers work with students to draft and edit essays on a theme. In 2018, students at Manual Arts High School in South LA interviewed and wrote about elders in their community, from alumni to grandparents. The result is Through the Same Halls, a truly amazing time capsule of a community's past and its present.
Hi, I'm Keegan Michael Key, and I'll be reading Living Through History by Tremel M., a student from Manual Arts High School, where 826LA has been supporting students with their writing skills for the past 6 years. When my grandfather, Beanie Malloy, was my age, he did gymnastics. One time, he tore his ACL and broke his leg. My grandfather had to be in a wheelchair for 12 weeks. He couldn't play sports for about 6 to 7 months, but my grandfather got through it by training as soon as he could for as long as he could. Similar to when I was injured. I cut my knee playing basketball and almost tore several ligaments. I had to get 9 stitches to heal the wound. One of the memories I have with my grandfather is going to the park, shooting the basketball around. It was such a good game that we lost track of time. We were shocked when we realized how long we had been playing for. We were supposed to be at my aunt's house at 4 p.m., and it was already 4:52 p.m. We got in the car, and my grandfather drove so fast the car was tilting sideways. Sometimes he does that for fun. To this day, my grandpa still reminds me, we need to finish that game. He is determined because he thinks he's going to win. I've had some challenges and some rough times, such as getting injured and having to sit out my basketball season, the loss of my dad's mom, my grandmother, at a young age, and being around the wrong crowd. What I admire most about my grandpa is his decision making. He always settles family arguments. I think it's his boss-like image that gives him power in that side of our family. You can recognize my grandpa by his turquoise car and big rims, listening to Big Ear Tupac while driving down Adams, all day, every day. Sometimes I wave at him, or walk up to him and shake his hand. I'm taller than he is, but his knowledge is what makes him feel bigger to people. They show him respect.
My name is Oscar. I'm going to 4th grade, and I've been going to 826LA for 4 years. The piece I'm going to be reading today is the Together Squad, Part 1. Have you ever seen anything that's flying that's not a bird, plane, or a tuna sandwich? Wait, why is a tuna sandwich lying in the air? Anyway, if you didn't see any of those things, then it's probably Sky Richard in there. If you ever wondered how he got his powers, well, it happened when he was a little boy, when he went into a forest that winter. He went into the forest and found a white glowing gem in a big crater. When he touched the stone, it turned into a mask and went on his face, and then he grew wings. Then he turned into Sky Richard. And so he kept the secret until to be continued.
Did you bring the egg?
Hello, yes. Hello, worldwide computer net.
Hello, and welcome to an online writing workshop for 826LA.
Welcome, everybody, to the book reveal of As Long as Hope Grows.
Special shout out to the volunteers who helped create this book.
You're going to do a quick little drawing of the objects that you like, you're going to name them, and then you're going to describe them.
And you'll be working on all stages of writing your article with us in this session.
With bacon rinds and chicken bones, drippy ends of ice cream cones.
I know a very famous engineer in Hawaii.
I could have everyone just like a round of applause, or even just like a little clap thing on Zoom.
Thank you all for all your hard work today. We really appreciate it. We can't wait to see what you wrote.
I don't know about you, but I am pretty curious to see how this story turns out.
Welcome to 2020. The top movie at the box office right now grossed $26,000 on opening night. Fashion trends include t-shirts and no pants at all. When we talk about the present, we have to talk about how things are strange, and especially for people who were struggling with poverty and inequality even before the pandemic hit. Incredibly hard. So that's why 826LA's first step following the school closures was to call hundreds of families, volunteers, and educators and find out how they were holding up and what their needs were. Did they have food, books, internet access? Within weeks, 826LA had relaunched all of its programs in some form. Not in a reactive, guess we should do something online kind of way, but in a direct response to what families and educators were requesting. Today, in this present moment, students can get at-home writing kits, one-on-one homework help, and college essay advice. They can attend live workshops or stream webinars. Teachers can incorporate our writing prompts into their curriculum. And I'm happy to report that Joel is working with a network-wide task force to plan for the reopening of 826LA's centers. It takes some impressive mental superpowers to say, I'm here, living in the present moment, and things kind of suck. But I'm taking notes, learning from them, and also imagining a future that sucks significantly less. You know who's really good at doing that? 826LA students, with some help from 826LA staff and volunteers. Let's learn a little bit about what 826LA has been up to recently and hear what our current students have to say.
Sí, pues buenas tardes, mi nombre es Marina Morales y tengo a dos niños en el 826. Es como nuestra segunda casa del centro porque participamos en diferentes cosas que ellos tienen y muy agradecidos. Hemos estado teniendo igual talleres, los encargados del programa igual están al pendiente como familias de que estemos bien. Y pues más que nada estar con las llamadas y también haciendo Zoom para tutoría. Es una experiencia diferente, pero igual sentimos como que estamos ahí cerca. Entonces, muy agradecido con el centro y estamos muy felices y agradezco al centro por todo lo que han hecho por mis hijos.
Hi, my name is Gio Salazar. I am 8 years old and 3rd grade. I am part of the 826LA program. I've been in 826LA for 1 year and a half. My title is the best parents ever. Do you have two co-responsible parents like mine? Sometimes my mom goes to the mall to buy me things. My dad works hard every day. Sometimes my dad takes us to the park on Fridays. My parents love Chinese food. These are reasons for why my parents are the best. 826LA is special to me because they've always teaching me how to write. I've started 826LA since last year's summer camp. Without 826LA, I'll never know how to write. Or meet new people like Joaquin or my other friends from 826LA. Thank you, 826LA.
The Freedom Schools of the 1960s had a mission not unlike 826LA's, to use popular education, including the arts, to undo educational inequalities. That project inspired 826LA's most recent Young Authors book project, Sounds of Freedom, Beats on Concrete. Students at Manual Arts High School learned about the Freedom Schools, listened to music, and wrote about the songs that made them feel free, or in many cases, the songs that helped them visualize a world where they could feel free even if they weren't there yet. John Legend wrote a powerful introduction to the book, but the students' writing is even more powerful.
Hi, my name is Emily V. Gordon, and I will be reading The Day I Saw My Mom After 7 Years by Crystal P., high school senior. When I was 5 years old, my mother came to the United States from Guatemala. She left my sister and I in Guatemala because she had to. Those days were the worst in my life. When I heard the song Mi Vida Sin Ti by Jesus Adrian Romero, I would think about my mother because she dedicated that song to me. The title means My Life Without You.
Mi vida sin ti. No me puedo imaginar mis horas sin tu silueta en mi memoria. Te has vuelto parte de mi historia.
The song took me out of sadness and helped me to understand why my mom left. When I heard the song, I closed my eyes and saw something very beautiful in my mind. My mother was with me. I took care of myself and she gave me love. She was with me in the bad and good times. I imagined my mother when my eyes were closed, and I imagined a big family with a good house, a garden, and animals, a united family. When I opened my eyes, I began to cry. One day, my mother called my sister and me to tell us that soon we would be with her again. That news was the best. But I did not want to go to the United States. I wanted her to come back to Guatemala. When I arrived at the airport and saw my mother for the first time in 7 years, I did not recognize her at first. At first, I could not fit into this country. It was very difficult for me. But always, my mom was there to support me, and she would ask me to be with her and tell her things. I will always be her child. I lived 7 years without being able to see my mother. Now when I hear the song, I feel like my dream came true. My dream was to be reunited with my family, because if you are with your family, nothing is missing. Thank you for letting me read that.
I am honored to teach ethnic studies at Roosevelt High School in Boyle Heights. It's a course that centers our students' exploration of our people's history. 826LA has become an integral part of our students' ethnic studies experience because it is through the writing projects that our students begin to articulate the pervasive systems of oppression affecting their lives. It's the way that students honor the resistance and resilience of their communities, and it is the way that students celebrate the possibilities of reimagining the world. Without a doubt, the amazing support of our 826LA coordinators and volunteers have helped my students end their first year of high school feeling a greater sense of pride in themselves, as well as a greater sense of empowerment. So for that, thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you all for so many more years. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kamel Nanjiani, and I am reading The Last Burger by Yamil H. Once upon a time, there was this dog named Gucci, and he was a famous dog. He was 1 foot tall and loves to eat In-N-Out burgers. Gucci lived in the Gucci store in Hollywood. There was also a burger that lived in Hollywood. This was not a normal burger. He has 2 arms and 2 little feet. He lived in In-N-Out and was scared of people. One day ago, In-N-Out Burger was walking in the Hall of Fame. In-N-Out Burger saw a lot of people crowded next to Gucci's star. He walked up to the star and he saw Gucci. Gucci smelled In-N-Out Burger and said, "I am hungry for a yummy burger." In-N-Out heard Gucci and started to run, and Gucci ran after him. They ran for 20 minutes around Hollywood. In-N-Out Burger turned the corner and he fell into the sewer. Gucci couldn't fit through the hole in the ground. Gucci cried and made In-N-Out Burger feel sad, so then he told Gucci the dog, "You can eat me, you just got to give me your star." Gucci said, "Okay, you just got to get out of the sewer and our deal will be finished." Yummy!
Evil Robot Memory Eraser? Evil Robot Memory Eraser?
Hi everybody, I'm Constance Wu, and today I'm going to be reading The Electronic Trap by Leonora G., who is 12 years old. Hi, I'm going to tell you guys how my friend and I got trapped in a phone. It all happened when my friend and I were watching a live streaming of our favorite K-pop group. Since the live streaming was really emotional, we both started crying, and our tears malfunctioned the phone, which caused it to zap us into the phone. When we got inside, it felt very spacious, and we were overwhelmed and anxious. Even though we were scared, we pushed that aside and paid attention to the scenery. which was colorful, lights everywhere. We were excited to look at the phone with obviously a different perspective. We walked around for a bit until we realized that we didn't finish watching the live streaming. So we kept watching it for a while, and it was weird because we could see the screen directly in front of our faces. We went on a little adventure to the apps I have on my phone. One of the apps we went in is an app where you can read a bunch of comics that people make. Many of them are amazing. Fast forward a few adventures, we got a message from an unknown number. The message said something along the lines of, "To get out of this phone, you would need to find something known as a heart." We didn't even know who or what sent it, but we just decided to find the heart. I mean, it's easier than writing a bunch of codes, in my opinion. We marched through the whole phone, trying to look for it. Through the course of that adventure, we got a little distracted and went to watch a bunch of videos to our interest because we wanted to. Then we bumped into a wall. The wall was hard, and I almost hit my head if it wasn't for my hands. The really bad thing was that the heart was on the other side of the wall. To get there, we had to swipe to the next screen. Thanks to my friend, she was able to swipe by pushing to the next screen. She was able to do that because she does ice skating, which requires a lot of physical strength. We finally found the heart and touched it. As we touched it, it turned into dust in the air. We ended back in the real world. That was an interesting experience that my friend and I would never forget.
If you're like me, you've probably been looking at a lot of charts and curves and projections about what the world will look like a few months from now. Sometimes we treat the future like it's a secret that we have to unlock. But the thing about the future is that it doesn't exist yet. Or depending on your interpretation of quantum theory, it does, but in infinite forms. And then the question becomes, which future will we inhabit? And that depends, of course, on the actions we take in the present. 826LA believes that supporting and encouraging students today helps them write the future. The data already exists. Students who can express themselves in writing do better academically. Students who are mentored are more likely to enroll in college and become leaders. So, which projection do we want to see? What decisions can we make today that will propel us toward a healthier, more equitable future? One of the many ways that 826LA invests in students' futures is by increasing access to higher education. Each March, 826LA hosts Scholarship Day to help seniors write essays to earn money for college. I don't need to remind you what March was like this year, but while schools were closing down, 826LA was reinventing this event as the Scholarship Project. 826LA volunteers ended up helping more than 60 students take an important step toward college in the midst of a pandemic. If 826LA and our students can do that, what else is possible? What is possible if you add your own support to that equation? The class of 2020 graduates into a world with no shortage of challenges and uncertainties, but they've already shown themselves to be a creative and resilient bunch. Let's learn a little more about 826LA's college access work.
826LA is like magic. Teachers' eyes light up when they hear 826LA is available to work with their students. Student participation rates go through the roof. Students are able to come to an understanding of who they are and express that in ways, especially for college personal statements, that they've never experienced before. 826LA brings together people who are passionate about their work, who are well-trained, and who know how to get the best out of students and support teachers in the most meaningful way there is. Thank you, 826LA.
My name is Kenya Ochoa, and I'm a senior at Manual Arts Senior High School. In 9th grade, I became a published author through an 826LA book project. In my 12th grade year, I tackled my college essays in the writer's room with the support of 826LA staff and volunteers. Today, I'll be reading parts of my personal statement. For a long time, anxiety has been a constant companion. At school, I was teased and bullied, which led me to believe that I was alone and made me doubt my self-worth. I decided to bottle up my emotions and throw myself into activities to distract myself. My efforts only led to becoming overwhelmed and obsessed with defining my worth through accolades and activities. I began to set impossible standards for myself and started to suffer panic attacks. As frightening as it felt, I built the courage to speak with an adult. First, my junior reserve officer training corps instructor, then others I trusted. From my instructor to a friend and a teacher to a counselor, I opened up to their advice. When things didn't go according to plan, I took a step back to remind myself that I needed to appreciate being in the present. The pressure was alleviated and asking for support became a breeze. I have taken advantage of the opportunities offered by the 8-6 LA Writers Room at my school. I've gone there to get advice and support for different types of writing assignments, including personal statements, which can be stressful, but with help, the results can be impeccable. I am aware that life will have barriers, and in order to succeed, you have to recognize that something is wrong and seek help. In the end, I know this lesson will help me thrive as a college student. I come from a family of immigrants who have persevered. Attending college has been a long time dream, especially because no one from my family has yet to accomplish this. They have shown me the drive I need to achieve my goals. I want to give back to my parents and also take advantage of opportunities to impact the world through a career in marketing, public affairs, and communications. I've constantly been told that education is the key for success. I've constantly reminded myself of that motto as I'm navigating under-resourced public schools. Going to college will give me the resources to positively change the world. Former generations have done an amazing job of paving the roads of success for us. I want to create new roads and even freeways of success for those who come after me. My fight for a quality education isn't over. It has just begun.
As Barack Obama himself noted in his commencement speech, sorry folks, he couldn't be here tonight, but you can find it on YouTube. So many students in the class of 2020 had to overcome obstacles to graduate, long before COVID-19 hit. A lawn sign really doesn't seem like a sufficient send-off, does it? So we thought the seniors of 826LA might have some words on what it's like to graduate into an uncertain future, and as always, they are the best narrators of their own lives. That's why we know their future is bright, because they're at the wheel. Let's hear from them now.
I am moving forward.
I am moving forward.
I am moving forward
to advocate for students that have a learning disability such as myself.
By forgetting my worst days and making better memories.
I am moving forward with my passion to help my community.
With pencil and paper in hand.
With hopes of giving back to my community in the future as a healthcare worker.
By staying positive so I can make a difference in the world.
To become the first in my family to attend college. To accomplish my dreams and aspirations.
To be the best person I can be every day.
I am moving forward with my family's stories in mind.
With friends and family on speed dial.
With the few Latinas in STEM as my inspiration.
With my father's perseverance in mind.
With my advisors, teachers, staff, and counselors supporting and motivating me through my journey.
To pursue a better educational future.
I am moving forward with the voices that told me to not give up, to believe in myself.
I am moving forward with my voice, singing through the best days.
I am moving forward to be the best person I can be every day.
We are moving forward.
We are moving forward.
We are moving forward with 4 years of hard work behind us that we should be proud of.
To forge new friendships and memories.
To continue our stories but never forgetting where we come from and what it took to get here.
To make a change in people's lives.
To challenge ourselves and make new discoveries.
By helping one another and supporting each other.
Con las ganas de perseguir nuestros sueños y no nos detendremos hasta lograrlos.
With the strength of the class of 2020.
With the support of the people that believe in us.
We are moving forward to become the next emergency service workers.
Teachers.
Doctors.
Entrepreneurs.
Social workers.
Engineers.
Writers.
Scientists.
Pilots.
Illustrators.
Nurses.
And anything we want to be.
because we can do it, and we will.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
You are officially college bound.
Hello, I'm Tom Hanks, and this is a reading of Leroy the Sad Lemur, Summer is Still Here, by Ms. Cho's 5th grade class. To Leroy the Sad Lemur, don't be sad. Here are some things to make you glad. Leroy the ring-tailed lemur, why are you feeling blue? Don't you know that humans have feelings for you? Leroy, please, don't leave. You can go outside. You bzzzt, and crash, jump through the trees, jump in the leaves, and then eat them. Enjoy the warm weather before winter comes. Leroy the lemur, you love big branches? Go outside and do your dances. Maybe go to France and show your prances. They will care about you all the way in Kansas. Run around and around. Leroy the Sad Lemur, summer is still here.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening to witness this weird and sometimes wonderful world through the eyes of the students who are remaking it. We have one more treat in store for you. See, a wise fictional woman named Mindy Lahiri once said, "My TV is broken and I cannot be alone with my thoughts." Mindy Kaling, the writer and actor who created her, is a longtime 826LA supporter because she knows that behind every non-broken TV lies great writing, and she believes in making sure all students get opportunities to develop their creativity. Here to ask her a few questions is one of 826LA's earliest and most steadfast champions, Judd Apatow.
Hi, I'm Judd Apatow.
And I'm Mindy Kaling.
And we are going to have the best talk right now to inform you, entertain you, delight you, and educate you.
And all bets are off. I'm going to talk about all the people I hate in Hollywood that I've never talked about before. Mm-hmm. Secrets, juicy secrets.
Oh, sure. Everyone's going to get taken down right now.
Everyone.
Get your popcorn because it's dark and dirty. Now, Mindy, we have a background which we never talk about, which is you were in the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
What's that?
My first movie.
And that was your first movie. And how do you look back on that moment and where you were in your life at that time, way back in the early aughts? Is that what we say? Was that 2003, 2004, around that time?
I remember really well about that premiere that I had a frenemy at the office who I will not name. And I didn't know that for a premiere, you're supposed to hire a stylist and whatever. And I asked this person, I said, "Hey, what do you wear to a premiere?" And she said to me, "Oh, just wear jeans and a t-shirt. Nobody, it's LA, so nobody really gets dressed up for these things." And I was like, "Okay, cool," because I didn't want to seem thirsty wearing a gown. So I showed up in a tank top and jeans with some earrings. And your wife, everyone looked so good, had been so styled. And I was like, I've been duped by this frenemy of mine. And for people who don't know this, and I got in touch with Judd last week actually because I saw a trailer for his new movie with Pete, and it was so good. I loved it so much that I then looked up Judd's masterclass and then watched. How many hours is that? 6, 8 hours? And I watched it all in one morning. So I did ignore my email that morning and I just woke up early and then just watched it all the way through lunch.
Was there one thing that you heard there that you didn't know that you thought would be helpful?
Yes. Oh my God. Well, the one thing, and I emailed you this, I'm so mad that I'm 40 and I am only learning this now, which is that any great comedy story, and I can't tell whether you attributed this to something you learned when you were at Larry Sanders or not, but you said that every great comedy story is actually a drama story that you can make funny. It has to have
Yeah.
real emotional stakes.
So I feel like you're very similar to me in the sense that you grew up as a comedy nerd, that you were watching a ton of TV and you knew very early that you loved this. And what was your path to comedy nerddom?
My path to comedy nerddom. Well, I was, you mentioned Andy Kaufman, and I think that he's the kind of person where I'm so inhibited compared to someone like him or to like Robin Williams. And I think that when you're inhibited and you're shy and you really care what people think about you, those people are just incredible. And I just loved watching them. And then as I got older, I was like, I'm really into the Kids in the Hall. Like, I've seen this episode 5 times. I've written out the sketch because I want to know why it's funny.
I did that too. I used to do that for Saturday Night Live. I would write the sketches out and try to understand why it was funny. And I think that's a specific kind of weird comedy nerd that goes that far. I know Bill Hader also talked about recording Saturday Night Live on audio. And when did it become a job? When did you think, is there a job in this?
I was a teenager and I was watching, because Conan was really big when he had his first show. That was really big. And I remember watching the show, and I would tape it with VHS and I would freeze frame on the list of writers. And I was like, this is something you can do.
But I did want to talk about the idea of feeling represented on television, because I did feel represented on television. I would see whatever, Seinfeld or Paul Reiser, and I would think like, I'm kind of like that guy. And so how is it for you not seeing those people on television?
You know, it's so weird because obviously there weren't any Indian American women in comedy on TV. There's not really that many of them now even. Yeah. But I don't know. I think this might be just like a defect in my personality, but I just thought, even though I don't look like them, like, I'll be accepted. And I think I feel really lucky that I have that personality defect, because I think a lot of people don't. Like, there's a lot of people who would look at TV and comedy who are Asian or Black at that time and just think, well, I really like it, I'm a big fan, but how would I explain this to my parents? There's no one for them to see.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason with my family, they just saw my determination. But not as many people are lucky enough to have it. But one thing, again, not to keep talking about your masterclass, this is an ad for masterclass, but the one thing you talked about too is how if you're not obsessed, it's not going to happen. And I was obsessed. I was obsessed as a kid. And if you kind of think it's cool, but there's a couple other things you want to do, and you don't want to stay late, you don't want to work hard, you don't want to like miss the party to work on your spec, whatever, it's just not going to happen. And that there are far more people who are less talented, but who are obsessed, who will make it, than people who are super talented, but don't have the patience to put in the time.
I have a question. So you have your new show. That must be like so exciting for you to be able to make that and talk about your experiences as a kid, but also have enough power to do something that generally is not done.
Yeah, it was great. It was really fun because I found that in other comedy shows that have diversity or diverse characters, a lot of times when you're watching it, you feel like, this is like a civic lesson. Like, I feel like they're trying to put in all these like diverse people just to show that they're like a woke show or something, and it's not actually funny. It doesn't actually help the story or anything. And what was cool about this show is we spent so much time casting it that we were able to find like truly hilarious people, or people that were really, really funny. And I feel like you did this with a lot of young comedy people who don't quite have the chops yet, but you were like, you saw something in them. So we spent so much time doing the casting that we were able to find this like truly funny cast of minority actors, and then kind of like get them acting lessons and get them experience well before we started doing the show. Just actually got this great cast. And it took a lot of hard work, but I think that's why people are responding to it. And it made me excited to do it again.
The show's called Never Have I Ever.
Yeah.
And, when we did Freaks and Geeks back in the day, one of the things that we decided to do was to assume that all the great people do not even think they could be in show business, and so they don't have agents. And that was a really big choice. So we did open call auditions, and we said anyone can come, and we went to Vancouver and Chicago and New York and Toronto, and we just let any kid show up. And then we said, if we find an interesting kid, we will teach them how to act.
This is something I thought was great, because I had heard from, I think, Lena Dunham or Jenny Connor back in the day, or maybe it was BJ, someone had heard or spoken to you and said, you know, Jed really loves self-help books. And so I knew that about you, but I thought it was just personally because you wanted to become a better person. But what you talked about in the masterclass, which made me want to, the minute this pandemic is done, go to a bookstore and go to the self-help section, is that by reading about problems and smart psychologists writing about problems and how to help with your problems, you actually came up with characters doing that.
Yes. Because every self-help book, the way they explain how to get better is they go, take Joe. Joe goes into a rage when you tell him what to do. And then they give examples of a fight he might get in with his wife or a problem with his parents. And then they say, but this is really why he's upset. He's upset because maybe his parents got divorced when he was a kid and he didn't get enough support and attention, and he comes out when people don't come through for him. And when you read a lot of self-help books, there's so many examples of personality types and what kind of conflicts and problems it leads to, that reading a lot of self-help, it informs your creation of characters.
Yeah.
For instance, if I needed a self-help book, I might go to my desk and go, 5 True Things, a little guide to embracing life's big challenges. And then, oh, look, there's a story. Physically, pain can happen acutely, like a sudden accident or a wound inflicted by someone. Story about a wound. But, this is for, I guess also young people who want to write and tell stories. What does writing stories mean to you?
What does writing stories mean to me?
Like for me, I always think,
yeah, tell me.
I'm working my stuff out in some unconscious way through these characters, and that everything that I make in some way is a message to me. Even when it's about someone else, it's like, oh, I should learn to be less filled with shame, or I should be more confident, or I should be kinder. There's like almost like a higher consciousness trying to teach me something.
I feel like that can't beat that answer. That feels really true. Yeah. Yeah, I think especially with like late night and with this last show I did, it feels like I'm writing something that I cannot see. Like I can't see it unless I do it. Kind of the way you felt about having Pete. You're like, I want to see him in a movie. Oh, I guess I have to do it. And with this other show, it's like, I want to see what a horny, dorky, nerdy Indian American girl is like with her friends. But I think what you said about telling a story that'll somehow heal me, I think that is like a kind of a deeper and like more honest answer. But I hadn't thought of it. So I'm now that's going to be my answer for my masterclass.
We've covered a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, we did.
So you have an appointment. I don't. So go walk away, and then I'll just sit here, and I'll just be like, oh.
I was so nice, and thank you 826 for having us.
Yes, thank you 826. Have fun, work hard, be well.
Bye.
At 826LA, we talk a lot about growth. We see how students improve their grades and build their confidence after a year in our tutoring program. We see how a student who is quiet at the beginning of a field trip is raising their hand and calling out ideas by the end. Just tonight, we've all grown because of the stories we've exchanged. And because you have given so generously, more students are getting the resources they need to learn and grow. Lemurs everywhere are smiling a little brighter. I'd like to extend a deep thanks to the following supporters for their extraordinary investment in our mission, especially now. Carolyn and Lou Lucido, Enel and Henry Chase, Goldhirsch Foundation, Middle Road Foundation, Tarina and Anders Eisner, Jody Evans, Bad Robot, Chad Depew, Sheila, Dave, and Sherry Gold Foundation, the Mendel Family Foundation, Leica Singh. We could not continue to offer the programs students count on without our dedicated board and hardworking staff and volunteers. Thank you to each and every one of you. If tonight was your first taste of what 826LA is all about, and you want to get involved, there are many ways. Perhaps you noticed that this event was a fundraiser. The good news is we are still accepting donations, right there on the page you're watching us on. Or become a monthly donor and help sustain our work all year long. And if you want to help students in a hands-on yet socially distant way, volunteer. Thank you again, and good night.